Blizzard deployed a hotfix last night that hopefully fixed a few issues including queue times. They also issued a statement around the Necromancer, and there's been a ton of discussion around class balance, especially Melee. We're also going to go over a few of your discussions and the subreddit complaints, so we do actually have a lot to talk about. What's up, world? It's Trevor here, back giving another video, and today we're checking out all things Diablo 4. Okay, so first up, Blizzard did deploy a hotfix last night, and this hotfix fixed hopefully several issues including queue times. In fact, I was able to log in this morning with no queue time at all. That could be because it's the morning, but hopefully that does fix it for later on. Now, there also was a full screen crash issue, which I actually did experience. Now, it only happened when I changed my resolution to lower than my current resolution, and I was just fiddling with something really quick and I wanted to lower the res so I could do something in the background. And so yeah, so I did experience that bug, and when I went to alt tab it would completely crash the game. Now, they also did issue a statement about the Necromancer, and that does have to do about the recent complaints about the minions kind of being a little flashy. Some have referred to it as like a cartoony look, even worse than D3, even going back as far as day 1 Necromancer, Diablo 1 players. So seemingly majority of people really do feel it doesn't really fit the aesthetic of the game, and I will say I do kind of agree. The statement from the community manager reads as follows: Necromancer summons luminous levels are not fully finalized, they will be adjusted for launch. So it seems like they will kind of like tone down the lighting, and hopefully that fixes the aesthetic a tiny bit. Maybe that's kind of the issue, although I still think that the textures overall kind of have a cartoony look to them, and maybe just kind of the overall structure to them. If they're kind of like blown up a bit to where they're bigger and so you can see them, but I think if they maybe shrink down the chest and kind of make them look like a dainty skeleton look and kind of give them like a gritty look to the bones, I think it'll probably fit the aesthetic better. So hopefully they do that as well. And now we do have to talk about the discussion around the class balance as far as everything goes with Melee and the other issues around the classes. And seemingly Melee is just not fun to play, and I'm gonna be honest, I haven't tried it yet. I have 2 sorcerers and I have 2 necros, one of which being a softcore, the other one being hardcore, so I have 4 level 25s. And yeah, I haven't tried Melee, and both the Sorc and the Necromancer are very fun to play. I can imagine that Melee is probably having some issues, especially from watching clips, watching a few different streams. Yeah, it does seem like that class is really poorly balanced, and Druid is just absolutely terrible. Now, I know people are saying, well, this is just to level 25, and you know, once you get this legendary, and once you get this, that, and the other. The problem is that first impressions really do matter with a lot of people, and if you want to keep a nice, healthy player base, you really do need to kind of have everybody feeling good about the class that they choose, and you really don't want people feeling bad about the game, especially when this is more of a casual type of PoE game, and it does seem like it's going for a broader audience when it's going for the councils and stuff of that nature. And it's just not good to turn people away from a game like this, especially when at the very beginning it feels kind of clunky and bad. That's not good. Regardless, I hope they do fix it and figure something out there and get the balance correct. Now, there has been some really big main concerns with the game, and I just want to address those. And I think most people do agree that the UI is kind of bad. It's sort of like a council UI in that aspect, and it feels very limiting for certain things. Another big thing missing from this game seems to be the map overlay. Now, in a lot of these games, these ARPGs, even like Lost Ark, when you open up your map, and it's normally like the map is like you can either open up a big map or you can open up a little one, and the little one will usually be sort of not transparent yet, but it'll be full, and then when you start moving it'll go transparent. And this map doesn't do it at all, so you can't move and use the map at the same time. In fact, your character completely stops moving. Even if you're holding your mouse down, it just stops moving. I'm not sure what happens on controller. Maybe you guys can verify that as well. So it completely stops your character, and it makes it this like really clunky system. So again, I hope they do add a little kind of mini pop-up UI. And there's really no reason for that limitation, even for consoles. Like, they should be able to use that as well. I just hope that's something they're looking at, and hopefully they add. Now, I will notice there's one other thing that I've kind of noticed from my own perception as well as others, is that there is this kind of movement latency, or a little bit of latency issues as far as with mouse clicks and things of that nature. In fact, even when I was kind of hitting an enemy, the cursor went from red to then gray, even though the enemy was still up and near like half HP. And then my character just starts walking toward that enemy. So I don't know what's going on there. I really do hope they add WASD movement, because it almost seems like this game was just made for console in mind, where the movement is kind of superior on that platform, almost in a sense. Now, another big topic has been this loading text controversy, where the text says immune or even dodge or whatever whatever it is, it pops up on your screen. It's like this big floating text. And so people are kind of irritated with it. They said that it breaks their immersion, especially because I think it uses aerial text. It's like the mobile UI text. So it can be kind of annoying and immersion breaking. And I think either they should make the text like not Arial. Arial font is kind of like, again, that mobile UI look, and I just don't think it fits the aesthetic of the game. If they give kind of like some curvature to the letters, I think it would kind of fit in a little bit better and maybe make it a little bit more transparent. Then I wouldn't mind it, and it wouldn't be too immersion breaking to me, and I kind of want to know about that stuff. So I would still leave that feature on, but I think that's how they can kind of fix it and remedy it, so that, and then hopefully they do add the ability to disable it. Now, another big concern people have been having is that the skills kind of feel incomplete without legendaries, and that goes back to like the druid class and the melee kind of feel boring. And yeah, some classes do feel incomplete without their legendaries, and also some classes feel extremely overpowered with their legendaries. Like the entire class changes, I would say, for Necromancer and that one Blood Mist legendary, but I think we're all pretty sure that one's going to be nerfed. Now, another big concern I've noticed, and I've kind of seen on several streams and now even a big post on the Reddit, is that the core and basic skills seem to be kind of lackluster as far as variability. Especially with, I noticed this with Necromancer, and everybody kind of takes that corpse explosion. It just seems like there's not a lot of variety there, except maybe like a bone build with bone spear, but then that's kind of like the same thing that you would take on that one. Also, the basic skills seem to be a little bit boring overall to use, especially again on those melee classes. I think the only fun basic skill that I like to use is on the sorcerer, which has that kind of lightning spread thing, and it does feel good to use while ulting and then having that really fast cast time, so that way you're constantly building up mana, and it feels like it does a lot of damage too. But overall, it does seem like the precedent for the game is mostly overall good, aside from some of the balance. Like, there's a lot there that is very fun to play, and it looks like this is build 0.8.1 that we have of the beta, so it is quite a while back. Maybe it's an older build. They fixed a few of these things, but although I would say that maybe the balances would probably be there. And again, when this releases, this will be in 1.0, so hopefully a lot of these things are already fixed. But overall, I've been having a good time with it, and I'd like to know how you guys feel about it. What are your major concerns with the game? What would you like changed, or what you think that is like a major issue that hasn't been addressed yet? And then maybe I'll feature that and talk about it in one of my next videos. And also let me know what you feel about the class balance and how you feel about your class and what you've been playing lately, because I want to know kind of what the diversity is in build, and I'll also probably run a poll in the community tab as well, so be sure to check that out. But that does about cover for today's video, and if you liked the video, like and subscribe, and until the next one, deuces.